Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a look at Homeo Assistant, an app that's built around a pretty amazing idea. What if a homeopath could carry their entire library, all of it, right in their pocket? Think about it. For any specialist, getting to the right information quickly is just everything. And for homeopaths, that's historically meant lugging around some seriously heavy books. So this app poses a really simple question. What if we could take all that knowledge, digitize it, make it searchable, and have it on hand, anywhere, anytime? And that's pretty much exactly what Homeo Assistant sets out to do. It's a free app just for Android, and it's designed to be that digital companion, pulling a massive library of homeopathic knowledge into one single convenient spot. And this isn't just some tech project. It's actually really personal. The app is dedicated to the memory of the late Dr. M.D. Abdur Rashid Miah. And that dedication, it gives us a real glimpse into the why behind it all. This mission to preserve and pass on this body of knowledge. All right, so here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with what's in this library, then get into the tools for practitioners. We'll also cover use and privacy, and then we'll zoom out for the bigger picture. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about that core idea. Turning an entire bookshelf into a library you can carry around in your pocket. Really, at its heart, the app's whole mission is about translation. It's about building a bridge between these classic, traditional texts and today's mobile tech. The goal isn't just to make centuries of knowledge portable, but to make it genuinely interactive. So, what's actually inside this digital library? This is where you really start to get a sense of just how big this project is. Just look at that number. Over 100,000. That's how many rubrics, which are basically distinct symptoms in their descriptions, are indexed inside this app. This huge database is really the engine that powers its most useful reference tools. And it's not just about symptoms. The app also has 13 complete foundational books digitized. You can see, more than half are materia medicas, but it's also got key texts on philosophy and therapeutics from some of the biggest names, like Hahnemann and Kent. It really makes for a well-rounded collection. Okay, so with all that data, how does a practitioner actually find what they're looking for? Well, the key is something called a repertory. The best way to think about it isn't like a dictionary of symptoms. It's more like a super smart index that connects every single symptom to a list of possible remedies. This is the absolute core tool for doing analysis. And to give practitioners real flexibility, the app doesn't just stick you with one repertory. Nope, it includes 4 major ones from authors like Kent and Borake. And each one offers a slightly different way to look at things, a different framework for analysis. So, look, having a huge library is one thing. That's great. But where this app really shines is in the tools it gives you to actually use all that information in a real clinical setting. So, what's the workflow actually like? Well, a practitioner can just create a new case for a patient, then literally tap to pick out symptoms from the repertories, and then, boom, the app's analyzer instantly gives you a ranked list of potential remedies. The whole process, from that initial analysis all the way to recording the prescription, it's all managed right inside the app. And check this out. This is one of the most powerful features for analysis for sure. It's a comparison tool. It lets a practitioner put 2 potential remedies right next to each other, side by side. It just makes it so much easier to compare their properties and figure out which one is the better fit for that particular case. But wait, there's more. The app also has a full patient management system, a text-to-speech feature so you can listen to the books. It even has this cool reverse repertorization feature, which lets you study every single symptom tied to just one remedy. And maybe the most important part for day-to-day use, the whole thing works completely offline. All right, so how does the app actually perform out in the real world? Let's take a look at what actual users are saying. And then we're going to tackle the really, really important issue of patient privacy. User feedback gives us a pretty clear idea of its strengths. Take this review, for instance. It really points out how valuable it is for students and beginners. They call it an awesome and helpful study tool for getting a handle on the essentials. But, to get a balanced picture, we have to look at the challenges too. This other review points out some technical bugs that popped up after an Android update, which
let's be honest, is a classic headache for any app developer who's trying to keep up with nonstop OS changes. Of course, anytime an app is dealing with health information, the #1 question has to be about privacy. So, how does Homo Assistant handle all that sensitive patient data? Well, the app's approach to privacy is actually pretty straightforward. Everything stays on your device, period. According to the developer, all the patient data is stored locally, it's encrypted, and it's never, ever shared or synced to the cloud. That design choice puts all the control and all the responsibility right in the hands of the user.
Okay, so let's pull back for a second and look at the bigger picture here. What this tool really offers and what its limitations are. At the end of the day, it's a trade-off, right? The strengths are super clear. You get this incredibly comprehensive, free offline tool that's packed with powerful features. On the flip side, the limitations are just as clear. It's only for Android. The fact that there's no cloud sync means you have to do backups manually. And yeah, it is ad-supported. Now, the developer is really clear about this next point, and it's a critical disclaimer for any tool like this. Homo Assistant is designed to be an educational tool, a reference aid for practitioners and students. It is absolutely not meant to be a substitute for professional medical advice or a consultation. And all of this kind of leaves us with one final big question to think about. As these incredibly powerful digital tools make entire libraries available to us with just a tap, it really forces a question on every single profession. How do we strike that balance between this amazing digital convenience and the professional responsibility that has to always guide how we use it?